The Mastering Local Marketing podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing. Here's your host, Matt Hansen.
Welcome to the Mastering Local Marketing podcast. He's Matt Hansen, a clinical professor of digital marketing, and I'm Jed, owner of Jed TV and WJOB Radio. And we are going into episode 42. I hope you liked that last one. I wasn't part of it. That might have been a little more professional in that way. But I'm glad that we're doing this one because you have introduced us here to a funnel that we use all the time.
Yep.
And can you just reiterate?
Yeah. On the most basic level, understanding your funnel is awareness, where your general customer base, how aware are they of you? We move into consideration from there, and then people become customers, right? So if you put 100 people into a room, are they aware of you? Out of those that become aware of you, how many will consider buying from you? And then out of those that would consider, how many actually purchase from you? So you had asked me a couple days ago, maybe we should reintroduce the funnel and kind of go into the funnel a little bit more. And I thought, all right, well, let's do it, right? So today we're talking about how to take somebody from a consideration level to the purchase level. So how do we motivate them? They're thinking about buying from us. How do we do something that will push them over into that buying side? So
first of all, how do you know someone has gone from awareness to consideration?
Well, they've walked in, they've talked to you, they've made a phone call to you, but they might not have purchased from you at that point. So, if you own a store where people are walking through the door, we all know that 100% aren't going to buy from you, right? They walk in, they look around, and many of them will disappear and not buy from you from that day. Maybe a phone call happens, right? So we're looking at buying a fence for one of the properties that we have right now, and I've made 4 phone calls. I've talked to 2 people, right? And I'm kind of just going, okay, I'm aware of who you are. I'm considering working with you. Let's have the conversations, right? Where's the best customer service coming in? Where's the best price? What's the least headache I'm going to have with all of this? And that's really where we're at, right? So I'm shopping right now. I've considered 4 companies. I've reached out to them, and I have not made a purchase with any of them yet. So we'll see where it goes.
The reason that we use this here is we're on the other side of this conversation. We sell advertising. We sell shows, we sell some other stuff, but it's all kind of centered around advertising. And this funnel conceptually is something that we say to clients.
Right.
Like, hey, we understand we're here for the awareness. We use the Matt Hansen 3-step funnel: awareness, consideration, close. We call it close. And, maybe one day you'll be at the bottom of that funnel. But here we are today. We're just going to tell you about it. It might be in front of a small group like you spoke to the chamber yesterday.
Yeah.
Or it might be meeting with a client. But it is a really good way. And I proffer it for you guys that you can just, if you start conceptualizing where you are in the process, it just becomes easier to kind of organize things for you. What's an evoked set?
An evoked set is it's more of an educational term in marketing that we use, but an evoked set is when I think of restaurants, I'm going to go eat tonight. There are a certain number of restaurants that pop up into my mind. Or let's take it even to much more simple. What are we going to have for dinner tonight? The adult question that we all have.
Like, we haven't heard that on about a dozen podcasts as an example.
Yeah.
Because it's always on you, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's always on me. So we talk about what's for dinner, and last night I was coming home, and my daughter had a fencing tournament, so I was just like, oh goodness, we've got to put something together, and it was literally going through my brain, what could we eat that's quick, painless, I don't have to thaw, all of those types of things, right? So we started looking at it, and you go through your Evoke set. It's like, what's the simplest thing I can make? Probably just make some tacos and call it a day, right? Brown some meat up and throw some seasoning, and we've got tacos, and we're out the door in 30 minutes.
He's obviously not of Mexican American. My wife is, and making tacos is the beginning of rice, chorizo beans, regular beans, making homemade salsa, cutting up all the jalapenos. You just want to make the tacos and throw them in a flour tortilla.
Yeah, we're going to call them American tacos that are just winging it. How about that?
Okay.
There we go. All right. So that's why I say, we start to think about what we can do. I talk about, that I'm looking for a fence. When I thought about that, I went, okay, well, we bought a fence previously from this company. I see ads all the time, so I'm aware of these two other companies, and then my wife brought in a fourth company that I had never heard of that somebody at work had told her about and said, hey, we use this. So the awareness went to 4 right there, and then we said, okay, well, out of these 4, do we know anything bad about any of them? No, we didn't. So we considered all 4, and we reached out to all 4. Right? So that's really what we're saying is we're trying to get into the evoked set of consumers' minds, right? Whether it's restaurants, plumbing, HVAC, where I'm going to go on vacation, right? Those types of things. If you can get into that evoked set of the customer, then you're already at the awareness stage. You're already at the consideration stage. Now we just got to get you to convert. And that's what we're kind of talking about today.
All right, let's go through some specific examples of moving someone. Remember, I kind of push for this awareness. Now we're already at the consideration stage with those 3 other fence companies, or with those 2 or 3 other restaurants that you're thinking about, and you can think about it. It could be service, it could be a good, it could just be a retail establishment, whatever it is. At-home trial kits, do those work?
We used to use this at the home decor shop. So somebody would come in and say, oh, I really love that picture, or I really love that piece of furniture. I just don't know how it's going to look when I get it home. And we would know these customers. They'd come in and we'd get to know them, and we would know their phone number. We'd know their address, and we'd say, hey, take it home. Bring it back by the end of the week if it doesn't work, and we'll see where it goes, right? And we would take their credit card information just so we had, if they never came back with it, we knew to charge. But we would do this all the time. And people would, many times they'd bring it back and say it didn't work, and we were fine with that. But we would give them things to go home and just try it, just see how it looks. And so if you go to a major furniture retailer and you say, oh, I love that picture on the wall, or I love that piece of furniture, I wonder how that would look. And they're not going to say, just take it home, check it out, and see how it looks. If you're a small business, you have a little bit more flexibility to do these types of things. So we did it. Now there are customers that are going to take advantage of this. Just note that we had a customer. I think I've mentioned them one time before. They took like 13 pieces of furniture home and didn't buy any of them. But realize you just got to keep an eye on that. But more often than not, people took this stuff, they went home, they hung it, they placed it, and they would literally call us immediately and say, oh, it's perfect, I want it, ping my credit card, right? And that was really kind of an interesting way to do things that you can't do with a large retailer. So we have an advantage from a small business that we can do these things because we have the flexibility.
So they're already in the funnel, they're at the consideration stage, and you want to offer them some sort of a nudge in the form of a perk. Mm-hmm. Give us an example.
I was talking to somebody that opened a bike shop yesterday at the presentation that I gave, and we were talking about different audiences and different things that you can do. And if I'm going to buy a bike, one of the conversations that we had was, identifying the kind of the age range that they were going after. They said they had an older customer base that was 50 plus, and then they had those with kids and all of that. And they thought what was going to happen, it was when they opened, it was going to be a much younger audience. What ended up happening was they had a much older audience that was coming in, and they were looking for different things and help with their bikes and all of that. So if you're selling bikes from a bike shop, could you offer a free annual tune-up to the bike for the next 2 years or 3 years, right? So if let's say you're 70 years old, you buy a bike because you want to get some exercise, but you don't really know how to work on bikes, and you're comparing a local shop to, say, a sporting goods shop that, big box kind of store, I can't take my bike back to a big retailer and say, can you help fix this? But a local bike shop that's going to continue to help you and say, yeah, bring it back. We'll look at everything, make sure everything's running every single year. Those are perks, right? Like that is something that, again, a small business can offer that a big one can't, and it's could be the determining factor. So think of it in terms of this. If I go to a big retailer and the bike is $150, and I go to the small business and it's $175, but I know for the next 3 years this bike is going to be running, I'm going to take that every single time.
First of all, you haven't bought a bike in a while.
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
sorry.
so you're using prices of, you really basically add a zero to them. But how do you do the perk without sounding desperate as a business?
The way you look at it is, if we're talking about a tune-up of a bike, is just saying that we are here for our customers. We realize that the sale doesn't end once you walk out the door. We are here to provide you with the expertise, with the ability to use the bike for X number of years. Others will sell you a product, and then once you walk out the door, I'm sorry, you bought the product. If you want a new bike, you got to buy another bike. So I don't know what bikes you're buying, but I've got kids, and when we bought bikes, we didn't add another zero to it. So you must be this expert biker.
I do ride the bike. I ride my bike to work a lot. I'm not one of those guys, though. I think I bought a bike used recently during COVID years ago for $600, and it was a kind of a top of the line bike, and I think new it's like $1,500.
Yeah.
So there is a zero to it.
There you go.
But I did buy it used with some nicks on the body of it, and I didn't care about that. So it knocked down the price. But what we're talking about is basically a reconnection, perhaps an email to someone where, hey, you know what? I know you're thinking about it. We'll throw in the tune-ups. So you're not talking about offering that up front. You're talking about a reconnection. Either way.
Front. I mean, so what happens, right? So somebody goes out and shops, and they're looking at different things. They're going to compare 2-3 different facilities, right? Retail locations. They may not make a decision, right? I love these people that drive all over the place, 7-8 different locations trying to save a dollar, right? When they come in and you start to talk with them and you're like, all right, what are you looking for? Well, I was at this store and I was at this store. Now I'm here. I've got a couple others I'm going to check out. Do you really want to let them walk out the door? Or do you want to say, I'll tell you what, if we sell this today, we could throw in 3 years of checkups just to make sure that the bike is ready to go every single spring. Let's get this done today. I mean, what are you looking for that you're going to find at another store? Is it a couple dollars off? Is that really what you're looking at? Or are you looking for a really great experience as you ride your bike every year? So, I've got a bike that's been hanging in my garage, and I take it down once or twice a year. And of course, every single time I have to do that, I have to put air in the tires. I got to readjust the brakes again for whatever reason. It kind of just, am I really going to do this? But if you want to ride a bike and you've got all this stuff, is it really about the dollars? Is it about the extra $10 you're going to save? Or is it the fact that if something happens, I can bring it back here and you're going to fix it for me, or at least help me maintain this bike? I'm going to buy it. If you're a good salesperson, at that point, you could sell it just off of that little thing.
You like the money back guarantee?
I do. I love that one. I was part of a project years ago, and money back guarantees, everyone's always like, oh, I don't want to give money back. People take advantage of that and all this other stuff. And quite honestly, most people don't take advantage of it, right? So it's this psychological thing that owners look at it and they're just like, oh, it's going to cost me a fortune, but most people don't actually use it. So we did this thing years ago, and we were selling training guides for a test. I'll just leave it at that. And the test had roughly around a 65-66% pass rate. And the study materials that we were selling had a 98% pass rate, right? So the people that were using it were really passing really well. So we rolled out a campaign and we said, okay, well, we have a 98% pass rate. If you don't pass the exam, we will give you the money back for the training materials. No questions. All you have to do is show us the report card that says that you didn't pass it. And we rolled that out, and we sold thousands and thousands of this stuff, right? And what ended up happening was everyone was kind of hesitant. They're like, oh, we're going to get all kinds of people requesting refunds. It's going to be a nightmare. We didn't get a single refund request. And it was funny because, quite honestly, think about it. All the way through it, I took an exam with a tool that had a 98% pass rate, and I still flunked. Now I'm going to call you up and go, hey, I'm the person that flunked. I'm the 2%, right? And can you give me my $26 back or whatever it was at that point?
That's a good point, actually. There's no way, and if like, I could think of so many instances where I'm just not going to admit it. Yeah. Forget it.
Yeah. Or you say, we'll give you your money back if you go through the whole process and you do everything that we say you're going to do. And you still don't find value in this, we'll give you your money back. And really what you're saying is, we've laid everything out on the line for you. We know this is so good that we're willing to give you money back. And you're still not finding value in it. It starts to become that question in the consumer's mind, like, why am I the one trying to get my money back here? What am I doing wrong? And it's funny, there's this little psychological thing going on in our head. It's that battle of the customer. But you think you're going to get more requests, but you actually don't.
Well, along that line, and along the line of the perk bundles and stuff, is the service plan. Mm-hmm. And this is, in more of a people that have the ability to service something. How do you do that?
Yeah, so, with the service plan and, let's just go back, right? So we are trying to sell somebody a product or service.
They are already in awareness.
They know about us,
and they're considering us in the evoked bundle or in the evoked set.
Right.
And now you've got to set yourself apart somehow.
Right. So you don't want to be a faceless company. I said this yesterday in the presentation that I was giving, and I said, "Who are your best customers?" And they're thinking about it. And I said, "Can you just have a conversation with them?" They're like, "Yeah." And I said, "Okay, they've become friends. They've become family of the business." That's what you want in your customer base. You want people to be excited to do work with you. So you don't want to be this transactional thing where, thank you for your money, hopefully you come back, I never see you again. Or maybe you come back and we'll have this transactional thing again. That's not a good feel. So what we're saying is we really need to get involved here and show people that there's a human side to us. That is the biggest value that a small business can give, because we are not this corporation that's out there that is this faceless entity that you're dealing with. We have the ability to do whatever we need to do to make your customer experience valuable. So from a small business owner's perspective, use that to your advantage. Many people think, oh, well, I'm not huge. I'm not this huge company. I'm at a disadvantage. No. People want to relate to whom they're doing business with. So I've talked about this when I bought my car, how I dealt with 13 different dealerships, and the one that just basically became human to me was the one that got the business. They offered a simple service of delivering the car to me. Outstanding. Let's do that. The one of the things that you said to me early on, I was like, all right, we're gonna,
we're going to start selling these ads, and I want to put this real slick folder together and all this marketing material. And you're like, hold on. Why is someone going to buy on a 100-year-old radio station? Because of your marketing material? Because why don't you just go talk to people? You don't even have to have any marketing material. Just go to them and say, negotiate with them. And that was all about putting a face to the product. And I have used that. We still have kind of crappy marketing material, and it is all face-to-face and, a little bit of emailing. And like I'm going right now to a Hall of Fame dinner. I'll get 2 or 3 leads out of this right now just by being there. And that to me is the important part of the funnel. Really, you got an awareness of who you are. If you really want to make your business successful, you have to go that step, like you're talking, the delivery of the car. Or, hey, I'll tell you what, you want to buy all of our sports stuff? I'll put you on my morning show, just for a thank you, and we'll go that extra bit. And it almost always closes. Yeah. It's just that one little. There's a couple other ones that we got to run through because we're up against the price lock, the price beat. Promise. That's becoming more and more common. Right. I like that one. Yeah. If it, especially when you go in and you go, hey, here's the ad for the other guy. Like you go to the Strachan Van Til, it's like, all right, here you go. There you go. We'll just meet it. We thought we had the lowest prices. I guess not on that advertised ad.
Yeah, I mean, with the price lock too, I mean, if you're running a sale right now, let's say we've got, $100 off something that we're selling and the sale ends this Saturday and you're saying, well, I know you want to go see a few other places. That's fine. I'll tell you what, you come back next week, we'll give you the same price, right? It's a price lock. It's very simple. You could do that. You're a small business.
Custom sample. Yep. You can do that. Well, and skip the line. That one is probably doesn't apply to everybody, but you can have a special pickup or this and that.
Yeah, so my car just notified me I need an oil change, right? Okay, now I've got another couple miles. I'm going to have to go stop and do that. If I could literally just make a phone call, they could come pick up my car while I'm at work and drop it back off. In a heartbeat, you'd get my business, right? Let me skip. I hate waiting in lines. It is my number one biggest pet peeve. Anyone that knows me, they're like, oh, Hanson, he's not going to wait in that line. I will jump a line any possible way I possibly can. So that's an oil change. It's will I sign up for a VIP list to get first dibs to get into something? Of course I will. All of those different things are value to you because everyone else is going to come in at that point. Can I get in there the night before to see the new restaurant? Am I going to be invited for something like that? The soft open, right?
Cooper's Hawk just did that. Yeah. And I'm like, I really don't want to go. And my wife's like, it's free. We're going, blah, blah, blah. We went, and now I've been back twice because of that. Yep. Same idea. Yep. Hey, he's Matt Hanson. All right. We did the one on body language during a sales call, basically. And I sat up like this to kind of get you to kind of go faster to close the podcast because there's people right behind us. Did you read that?
I'm reading you.
Did you read me sitting up?
Do you notice that? You notice I'm slowing you down too.
You are slowing down. Everybody's got to wait. Phil Potep out there can't wait. Hey, everybody, this was episode 42, Ways to Turn Consideration into Buyers. Think about the funnel. The funnel, to me, is the key to this whole podcast. If you get the funnel down, you can go in a lot of different directions. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Yep. Take care, guys.
Matt at masteringlocalmarketing.com and tell them what you want to see, what you want to talk about, and we'll make it happen. Until next time, see you later.
The Mastering Local Marketing podcast helps local small business owners like you understand what it takes to successfully market your business and drive new customers through your doors. We provide actionable insights, interview leading experts and business owners in various industries, as well as provide tips and tricks we've uncovered over the last 25 years in the field. Whether you're starting your business or you've been at it for decades, let us provide you with the education and resources you need to grow your customer base. It's time to start mastering your local marketing.
Fall is all about cozy comforts, but when you're prioritizing your health, it's easy to feel like you're missing out. With Hero Bread, you can enjoy all your fall favorites because they're made with Hero Bread sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. Try their all-new Hero Noodles with 12 grams of protein and just 80 calories. So skip replacing every carb with cauliflower and indulge in your breakfast, lunch, and dinner time favorites while still hitting your goals. From breakfast bagels and meal prepped enchiladas to mouth-watering burgers and cheesy noodles. You won't believe Hero Bread's options have 0 to 5 grams net carbs and are high fiber from the taste and texture. They've even got small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular Hero Croissant. And right now, Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code FALL25 at checkout. That's fall25 at hero.co. All figures are per serving of Hero Bread. Contains 2 to 18 grams of fat per serving. See the product nutrition panels on hero.co for more information.